Ready to rock.
Let's
Melissa, don't forget to press record.
I got it.
Okay. Hey guys, want to welcome you and thank you for taking a few minutes out of your time this evening to join us. You guys are going to hear from some great speakers that have been with the company, a couple of them since the beginning, one of them co-founder. So you can't get any more beginning than that. Some of the things you're going to be hearing about is the opportunity, how to make an extra income. You're going to hear about the culture and the vision of the company and how things got started and where we are today from day one. And you're also going to hear about how you can develop time freedom to spend more time with the people you want to spend it with, like your loved ones and family. Give you a little background on myself. I'm Stacy Loftus. I'm from Charleston, West Virginia. I've been with Zingular for a little over 8 years. I still work full-time as a police officer in Charleston, West Virginia, which I'm getting ready to hang that up here in a few months, thanks to Zingular. We have been building this to where we're at that place where we can say it's time to walk away. And I'm very blessed to be in that position. There's not a lot of police officers that are able to retire at the age of 46. As a matter of fact, there's not a lot of people anywhere that has the opportunity to do that. And thanks to Zingular, we have definitely put ourselves in that position. So the first person I'm going to bring on is our co-founder, Mark Walker. And if you guys don't know Mark, let me tell you, he is one of the greatest men that I've ever got a chance to meet and be around, have developed a great friendship with him. And like I said in the Zoom earlier, he's that guy that if it's a room full of 5,000, 10,000 people, it doesn't matter. When he is speaking with you, it's like you are the only person in the room. He has the biggest heart of anyone that I know. We've been able to travel the world together. And when I say that, I mean, we've been as far as Dubai, and there's not much further places than Dubai that you can travel with someone to somewhere with. So Mark is also a mentor of mine. I've been able to learn a lot under him, and I know a lot of people on here have. And I'm going to share something really quick that I didn't share the last time. Mark may or may not remember this. When I was at my director's invitational, and he was the one in a private meeting speaking with me about my organization, the business, my future with Zingular. One of the things I asked him was, if I look at this as a retirement job or position, what would you tell me? And I was thinking in the back of my head, he's going to say, well, retire as soon as you can so you can start building Zingular quicker. And that was not his answer. And Mark, I don't know if you remember the answer you gave me or not, but he said, when you build your Zingular income 3 times bigger than what you're making at the police department, that is when you want to start looking at retiring. And I thought, wow, that is a person that is more interested in my well-being and my family's well-being than the company's. And that I have shared that story with so many people, and I've carried that with me from the beginning. And it was, I think, 6 months in with Zingular is when Mark and I had this meeting. So Mark, I don't know if I've ever shared that with you, but you don't know how much that means to me, that was your answer for my long-term Zingular business. So Mark, I'm going to hand it over to you and let you talk about the culture of the company and the vision.
All right. Thanks, Stacy. And, I remember a little bit of that. I don't remember my exact answer, but I do remember talking to you, and I remember you were a police officer. And, in my head at the time, what was going on was like, policemen have a really good retirement, and I want to make sure that you're really set before you make any decisions. So I usually actually say when you're making twice as much from Zingular as you are your regular job, but I was obviously hedging my bets with you because I said 3 times. So anyway, but it's a pleasure to be on with everybody, and thank you for Stacy and Melissa for setting this up, and thanks again for the invite too. And they want me to talk a little bit about Zingular and about some of the things that we built into the company that I think make us special. And in the very beginning, it was just an idea, right? I mean, we had this idea of starting a company, and so. But the good thing was we had the ability, because it was just an idea, to build in things that we knew would make it a good company, number one, but also make things work, right? Because it all has to work. or else you don't have a long-term viable company. And we wanted to make sure this is a long-term viable company. One of the things Rudy always says, Rudy's another co-founder of ours, the majority shareholder. He always says, we've got to do the right thing because people put their life in our hands. They put their future in our hands, and we got to make sure that we are cognizant of that, and that we respect that, and that we literally understand we're holding that, right? And so everything that we did for a very specific purpose. And I just want to hit a couple of them really fast, but in the beginning, we knew we had to have phenomenal products because our products have to work. We don't have stores to sell them in that people grab them on impulse. We don't advertise so that people, will call in or go online to buy something because they heard it on the radio or they saw it in print or something. We don't do it that way. We go person to person, and you have to have a product that works, or else people don't have a story to tell, right? And so we knew that was priority number one. We had to have products that worked, okay? And so we built products that we knew were going to work and that we knew were going to help people. And that was very, very important. But the second thing that we did, I think, is just as important as the products. Just as important as the products working is the pay plan, the way that we pay people. We pay people for sharing, right? So if I take something that works for me, I can tell Stacy and ask Stacy, this is phenomenal. This did it for me, blah, blah, blah. And then if he buys it, then basically I get paid. And that's really important because we want people to number one, get a good result, but then to share. Because our goal isn't just to help one or two people. Our goal is to help as many as we can. And so people have to tell their story and share, or else that's not going to happen. And so we built a plan. And when we put the plan together, again, it's multiple things, right? So you look at one thing and you say, okay, if we do this one thing, what's that going to do? What is that going to motivate people to do? And if they do that, is that going to get them and us where we want them to be? Because if we did something, and as we're thinking through it, if I could see, well, that's going to get them to do this, but we actually want them to do that, then we back up and say, okay, well, what do we need to change? What do we need to adjust here to make people, to incentivize them to do the things that we know are going to get them successful, even when they're new and don't know what they're doing, don't know what they can do, have no idea what they can do. You want them walking down that path, right? So everything we did, we would think through the process. What's this going to do? And so we built our plan, our pay plan, around those ideas, those things that we knew were going to motivate people to do the things that were going to get them sharing, get them helping other people to share and to grow their business, motivate them to develop themselves so they can be a better leader. All those things are things we built in. And then one of the other cool things about our plan is we have a travel program, and that was put together when Rudy, who grew up on a chicken farm in New Jersey, was talking to me, who grew up on a dairy farm in Idaho. Neither one of us, both families were very poor. Neither one of us thought we'd really ever do anything in life, but yet we've had these amazing lives. We've been able to travel and meet people all over the world, and just, it's incredible. And so we were talking one time about, who'd have thought, right, that you and I would ever do anything. And Rudy said, wouldn't it be cool if we could build something into this company that would allow people to have the same life experiences that we've had? And I was like, dang, that's a great idea. And yes, it would be cool. And so came home from Utah and sat down and thought, okay, how are we going to put this together, right? And so we built the Passport program, we call it. But the Passport program is a kind of a lifestyle rewards program. There's some cash rewards and stuff for doing things, but there's also trips. We bring you to Utah twice, so people wonder, why Utah? Well, you come in, you get to go to the office, kick the tires, meet the people, and it makes it real. And if you already think it's real, we let you bring one person, so your spouse or partner comes, and it makes it real to them. And then we go to Park City and treat you great, or we go to Sundance and treat you great. We sit down with you. We talk about you. We talk about the products, your product knowledge. We talk about your business, right? We talk about being a leader. And a lot of times this is way earlier in somebody's, singular life than they ever thought of those things. And so it makes them kind of think, wow, what if this does do good? And what if I did do these things to make it work? And so we wanted to help people. We wanted to make it real. We wanted to make it worth it for the spouse or partner that's doing the dishes while the other person's doing text or on the phone or whatever, on a Zoom somewhere. And so we wanted to make it real and good for both people. And then we wanted people to have these experiences. And so, like Stacy said, we traveled to Dubai. And people ask me why Dubai. And I'm like, well, you ever been? No, that's why Dubai, right? It's a way cool part of the world that nobody ever goes to, but yet it's really, really just cool. It's cool as heck. There's so many neat things there. We also take you on a Caribbean cruise. A lot of times people have never been on a cruise before or never been to where we go. We take you to Dubai. We take you to Bora Bora. Now everybody's seen the little huts, right? But did you ever really think you'd go? Did you ever think you'd be staying in one of those huts on the water? Well, no, most people know. They never thought they'd be there, right? I'd seen the pictures, all that kind of stuff. Never thought I'd be there. But we take you there. You stay in a hut on the water, right? Mediterranean cruise, you know, you go to Italy, you go to Greece, you go to all these places. And again, people might have heard about it, but never dreamed they'd be there. And the reason we do that is because we want you to have a rewarding life. We want to make sure that the life experiences you have, that we help enrich that we're part of that, right? And so all of this was put together. Well, why? Why was it put together? To help people. Okay. And so when you're looking at Singular, if you're just looking at us, or if you're using the products or sharing a little bit, I want you to think about this. Why are you really here? What is our purpose? Both as a company and as distributors, what's our purpose? And our purpose isn't just to help ourselves. That, heaven forbid that ever be our purpose. Second thing, our purpose isn't even to help one or two other people. Our purpose is really to honestly get this out and help as many people as we can, right? And the more people we help, because we built our pay plan the way we did, the more people you help, the more successful you're going to be. There's no way for that not to happen. And so I want you to think about, how do I help as many people as possible? Is it me working harder and harder and harder, sharing more and more and more? Or is it me finding the people that are motivated and want to build, and then say, hey, what do you want? And how can I help you get that? And then I help that person develop and grow and build a business and get to where they want to go. And then I say, go to the next person. Okay, what do you want? And how can I help you get there? And the better I am at doing those things, the more people I'm going to help. Because I only have 24 hours in a day. I can only do so much. But if I can get 5, 6, 7, 10 people, 12 people doing the same thing I'm doing, then we're helping a lot of people. And if I'm really good and I teach them how to do the same thing, and so they're developing leaders, again, think of how many people we're helping, right? And so really, honestly, it's not about us and it's not about what I can do. What it's about is how good I am at helping other people do what they want to do, get what they want, grow, that kind of thing. And so as you listen to the other speakers tonight, and as you look at us, look at Singular, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about, man, if I could get really good at helping a ton of other people, how many lives could I change? How many lives could I bless? And that is why we're here. Okay. That's why we're here. That's why Stacy's up at 10 o'clock at night. Okay. And everybody else on the call, that's why we do what we do, you guys, is we do it to help other people. And we get so much joy, and it's so fun to see somebody grow and to see Stacy go from, what if I did look at this as a business, to a guy who's going to retire this year. That makes me happy. That gets me excited. Being able to travel with Stacy and Pam all over the world and see them experience some of these cool places, but also that interconnectedness of all the people on the trip. They just get to be such good friends, and those relationships go on and on and on. I mean, we joke as a company that our best friends don't live next door or in the same town. They live clear across the US or up in Canada, and it's true, and it's unique, but it's cool as heck that we have that kind of life. It's just really neat. So anyway, as you listen to the other speakers, I hope you think about those things. And Stacy, thanks for having me on.
Hey, thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. And I shared this with you earlier, is I had no desire in sharing this in the beginning. I was just wanting to use the products, get great results, and that be it. And when the opportunity part was shared with me, which was in the very beginning, I told my friend Amber, who got me started, I said, listen, I don't have time for that. I work 50 to 60 hours of work a week at the police department. I don't promote anything. That's just not my personality. It's not who I am. So I gave her a very direct but very polite, no, thank you, I'm not interested. And about 2 weeks into it, maybe a little longer, as I saw people asking me what I was doing. And this is my thought, when someone asks you what you're doing, that translates to me is, I need help doing what you're doing. Whatever it is, I need that. And so I opened up my mind a little bit and said, let me help a few people, if nothing else, to get my products paid for and to help a few people that's asking get good results. And as I was doing that, and Mark, you know, and everybody on here that's helped people, you know how that goes, that you start having this trickle down effect to where as you're helping people, their friends and family are noticing. So you're helping them help their friends and family. And in the first 6 months of helping people, we actually got to pay off $23,000 in debt. Now, all of that didn't come from Singular. A huge, huge portion did. We grabbed a little bit out of savings and put it behind us. But that would not have happened without Singular. And that is when I started getting my eyes open to the true income possibility here with Singular. And obviously ran with it and have not looked back. But Pam and I definitely would not be in the place we're in today if it was not for Singular at all. So, Mark, thanks for being a co-founder. We appreciate it. And the next guest, Jennifer Naylor, if you would go ahead and unmute yourself. Jennifer and I, once again, we met through traveling with Singular. We've traveled to many different places. And she's one of those people, when you meet her, when you first meet her, you just know that she has a pure heart of helping people. And that's what she does. She pours her heart into people. She loves to help people. She loves to help people be successful on whatever level that is. And I shared this in the first one, so I'm going to have to share it in this one for those who are not on. Someone told me that she has this crazy obsession with lip gloss. I can't tell where I heard that from, but if she wants to share that in her story, by all means, Jennifer, it's all yours.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's true. Hands down, it's true. I can't get enough, and I have enough for all of you on here. We could all wear lip gloss for the rest of our life, but I'll probably buy another container of it next week. But thank you, Stacey, for having me on. And it's an honor to follow Mark Walker, who is the man who kind of set the standard for this whole company, and a reason why a lot of us are here. And a big reason why a lot of us are going absolutely nowhere, because we love everything that this company stands for. So I'm excited to share my journey over the last almost 7 years with the company. When I started, I didn't have any weight to lose, and I certainly wasn't looking or thought this would be something I would have as an income source. I was just a mom who was tired, a mom who needed energy, better health. I wanted to be more proactive with my health in my 30s. And so that's what I went after. And then I found it with Singular. And what do you do when you find something that you love? You tell the other people that you love. It's no different than anytime I find like the latest and greatest gadget on Amazon, the first thing I do is share it on Facebook or tell my friends, because we all, I don't know about you, but that's how I like to shop. If somebody has already tried it and I know they love it, then I want to have it because of that word of mouth, that they knew that they liked it. Okay, well then I'm going to need to have it as well. And so I just shared. The difference was that Singular pays me to refer people to the company, and Amazon just keeps taking all of my money. Like, they've given me nothing and I keep spending money. And I only buy lip gloss on Amazon sometimes. Usually it's something for the kitchen or who knows what. If I can find it on Amazon, that's where I'm shopping. But this is when I realized that this was going to be my blessing. I didn't have a big before and after story to share because I didn't have weight loss story. But this is what was going to change my life, was having the ability to take a money warrior, and that was me, who didn't really have an income. And I was going to get to create that income and that financial security. That was going to be my huge transformation. And let me just stop right here and say this. I'm not here to say this is like a get rich quick kind of deal. I'm not saying you can't go run out of the gate and make tons of money. It's totally possible. But this is definitely something that takes consistent effort on your part. It's not logging 8 hours a day and doing treacherous, laborious work, or working hard for somebody else. You're working hard for yourself, but you have to show up every day. You have to be consistent. You want people to know that when they're ready to make that transformation, whatever that is for them, you want them to know that you're going to be the one that can help them with that. So it does take work, but we have a lot of great simple processes in place. So it's not hard, grueling work, but it's also not, I'm not going to say I started this and the next month I was making thousands of dollars, but some people do. So just know that it's an amazing opportunity, and we all kind of run it at our own pace. So to just kind of take you back to the very beginning, when I started, I was a stay-at-home mom. I was doing some part-time work just to make ends meet because we were living off of my husband's income. And I even became a substitute teacher, which I don't have any training in. I basically just use mom skills to run a classroom, but it worked for me because my kids were in school. And so when they were in school, I was working. And when they weren't in school, I wasn't working, or I could just say no to the job. The problem was I was also a caregiver for my daughter, who had been battling leukemia for several years leading up to this. And at that point, it was starting to get where it was really hard to maintain any kind of commitments or schedules. And I hated letting people down. And I don't like to have to call in and be like, sorry, I can't make it today. And so I had to kind of let that go. And that's where this stepped in even more, because I realized it didn't matter where I was. I didn't have to call into Zingular and say, I can't work today because I have to be at the hospital, or I'm stuck at home and I can't show up. I could always show up, because it's just wherever my phone was, and my phone always went with me. I'm sure you're the same. And so this became the way for me to not only make some income for my family and kind of squish that money warrior in me, but also say yes to the things that I needed to say yes to. And for me, that was to be with my kids. And especially with my daughter, with her health, I wanted to be the one that was taking care of her. I wanted to be with her everywhere. But I also wanted to be the room mom for my son. And I wanted to go to all of his games and do all of the things. And this allowed me to say yes in those really precious moments that I needed. But again, I was still able to continue making money during those times. A couple years into my journey with Zingular, my daughter did pass away after 9 years battling leukemia. And needless to say, I'm sure you can imagine that was just the lowest point, the hardest point, the darkest point of my life, and a really hard time. And I think at that point, a lot of people might think, you know, that's probably when you set aside any kind of like side hustle or whatever. But I did the opposite, because the company did the opposite. I was just surrounded by support, and not just by my team, the people I work with every day, but by the company in the whole. Like everyone you're hearing from tonight, we're not on the same team. We don't even live in the same state. We don't benefit from each other's work, but we love coming together to collaborate and help spread this blessing that has changed our lives. We want it to change yours. So we kind of come together. We can all share our different stories. Corporate was great also. They kind of knew what was going on, and they reached out, and I felt supported. It wasn't like, here's all my coworkers. It was like, here is a new extended family that I never knew I really wanted. And it was just a place that I knew I wanted to be. It also go back to that busy mom who doesn't want to, you know, necessarily punch in a clock. The last thing I wanted to do at that point was to go into an office to get pretty and go anywhere. I could stay home. I could work when I felt like it. When I didn't have to, but when I could work, I could be in my pajamas. And I'm just telling you that if you've ever been on a video chat with me, or you watch me on Facebook, this is not what I usually look like. I'm usually full on either gym clothes or pajama pants all day long. So you're welcome for today. But really, it's a business that we can do whenever we want, in the middle of the mess, in the middle of the crazy seasons. We all have those, whether it's a life event or a busy sports season. Whatever it is, you can do this in the nooks and crannies. You can do this at halftime. You can do this in a hospital room. You can do it in a school bus, wherever you need to. So I just want to kind of wrap up my little talk here by asking you to kind of sit back and think about something. I want you to think about where you're saying no, and what you would need to say yes. What are the things that you have to say no to now that you wish you could say yes to? Is it that you would like to say yes to your kids when they ask to do competitive sports? Because Lordy, that's expensive. And they also will need a new pair of shoes and probably a uniform and all that stuff. It adds up quickly. Or maybe you'd like to work less, or you'd like to travel more. Whatever that looks like for you, we want to be the people that help you turn those no's into yeses. For me, my yes was to be exactly where I wanted to be when I wanted to be there and still make money. And so whatever that looks like for you, we're here ready to link arms and walk with you at whatever pace you're ready to. But get with the person who invited you tonight and talk to them. Talk to them about how they can help you turn your no's into yeses. But thank you guys for being on tonight. And Stacey, I'll pass it back to you now.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. And let me tell you, I love the turning no's into yeses. I know I mentioned that earlier, but that is such a powerful statement to really step back and think, what is it that I'm saying no to in my personal life, my family life, that I would love to be able to say yes to? More family vacations, travel ball, buying extra things for your family, donating more, whatever that might look like for you. And that is so powerful to be able to say, I don't have to say no anymore to fill in the blank. So that's awesome. I'm glad you shared that part. So our next guest speaker is going to be Cynthia Evans. She has been with Zingular from day one, and she is kind of in my backyard here and one of my main mentors. We have grown very, very close friends through the company, through traveling together and just doing things locally. We go out to dinner quite a bit. We brainstorm with each other quite a bit. And I will tell you, she has pushed me out of my comfort zone more than once. But that's what great mentors and great leaders do. And great friends, they push you out of your comfort zone to help you be successful. And I would not be where I'm at today if it was not for Cynthia. So Cynthia, come on and unmute yourself. It's all yours.
Awesome. Can you hear me? Am I unmuted? Hopefully I am.
Good.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I am Cynthia Evans from West Virginia. If you're looking at the income chart, I want you to check it out because I'm going to talk about some big money. Because where I came from with this, just like how Stacy had a conversation with Mark Walker in the beginning, Mark Walker has been my mentor from day one in this company. I would definitely not be where I am without him. And I remember being in a car with him in Canada and going through the same kind of discussion about, can I really, really afford to walk away from my legal practice and do this full time? And how much money have you helped people make in the past? And are they still making that type of money? And all these kind of questions. And he answered me on all of that. And from that point on, I ran with this. So back how I got started was I was working 100 hours a week, sometimes more, at my own law firm. And I loved it. But at the same time, I hated it. And nobody knew that. Nobody knew how miserable I was with the stress of it, the expense of it. I never missed anything with my son because I didn't have a boss. But in order not to miss anything with my son and still get everything done, I had to work through the night. Sometimes I didn't go to bed till 3 o'clock in the morning and then up at 6. People say to me now, like, oh, well, this is easy for you. You don't have a job. The only reason I don't have a job, which I was the boss of, the owner of, is because I did this over and above working 100 hours a week at my practice so I could get my time freedom back. And I never thought that I would be talking about this now. Like I never thought that it truly could make the type of money that would enable me to be walking away from a 30-year career of practicing law. But I actually walked away from it way before 30 years was up. So I was trying to remember tonight exactly when I retired because it took me a few years to get out of it because I had so many cases stuck in the system. But I'll tell you that I stopped taking new cases about 3 years into beginning this. And then it took the rest of those years to kind of push them through because the court systems take so long. But Mark Walker was instrumental. When we talk about support here, he was he's not an attorney, but he helped mentor me out of my legal practice and with the financial gain here that you can have. Why do this? Okay. Something that I want to bring up is we have a business that's not trivial. If 2020 has taught us anything, it is that the world will go in a crisis over 2 things in your life, and that's your health and your finances. So there's literally something that nobody can live without, and that's their health. And that's what we help them with. So any other business out there that deals with, jewelry or handbags or makeup or trivial things that nobody cares about if you're laying on your deathbed, and you absolutely can't live without your health. And 2020 has proved that. You also can't live without your finances. If someone doesn't have money, they got their hand out to the government to hand it to them. You've got to have money, and people cannot be afraid to talk about money. So I'm not afraid to talk about that at all. And everybody I know is broke at some level. They're either broke at a low level where they're on public assistance, they're broke at a medium level if they work for a boss and they are on a fixed income and their boss fixed it for them and they can't change that, or they're broke at a high level. And that was me. That's your business owners, that's your professionals, that's the people that have to pay everybody else that called employees before they pay themselves. They pay for their health insurance and their vacations and everything else before they take any money home themselves. That was me. I paid for 3 different families before I paid for my own. That was me. So I was completely stressed out. So when I saw this and I grabbed it, I made money by accident. The first time I made money, it was $75. So I'm not here saying, oh my gosh, I made, $1 million my first week. No, I made $75 my first pay. And you know what? I got excited and I was jumping up and down about that because that was income without overhead. And to make any money, even a dime at the law practice, I had $30,000 a month overhead at my practice as a solo practitioner. That's a lot of money. So here I got in business for less than the price of my cell phone. Okay, less than the price of your cell phone, which you have in your hand. So there's no excuse not to get started. You already own a phone. You've already spent more money. You've already spent more money keeping yourself fat, sick, and broke than if you would get started here and turn your life around. Turn it around physically and turn it around financially. So in my first check was $75. I went on while I was working 100 hours a week. I still made $100,000 on a part-time basis in less than a year here. Take that in, okay? That was on a part-time basis my first year. Some people work years and years in a full-time job and don't make that type of money. Then it increased. Within 4 years, I had made over $1 million on a part-time basis here. You can do this. It's a simple referral system. We do not stock or retail any products. You simply help other people. And people join us for all different reasons. And so some of those reasons, I was just listening. Everyone in your life is going to complain about something in the first 5 minutes. You need to listen to them. They might get started because they want a divorce and they're financially trapped in their marriage. I was just texting people going, hey, I know you're in a bad marriage. I know you can't get out. I found a way for you to get your divorce. We need to talk. Or, hey, you told me you wanted to drop 20 pounds. I found a way for you to do that. We need to talk. Or, hey, I know you hate your boss and you need it out of your job. We need to talk. When can you talk? So I was just literally taking people's reasons that are holding them back in their life and using that as the reason to get them started, because this is simply a tool. And I know that you don't want to do a business. I didn't want to do a business either. If you get home from work and you're exhausted, the last thing you'd want to do is do something else. But if you don't do something else, you're going to continue to be exhausted and broke the rest of your life and stressed out. So you have to change it, and you can change it quick. So I'm one of those people that wanted to grow fast. I still feel like I'm just getting started and I'm not even where I want to be yet. And people have passed me up, and that's okay. It just gives you financial security. So here's the question to you. What do you want that you can't get doing what you're doing right now? Write that down. Let's help you get it. And I'm going to send it back to you, Stacy. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. And let me tell you, I never get tired of hearing you say, what is it that you want that you can't get by doing what you're doing right now? And it is such a true statement that everybody should be thinking about, no matter what level you're at right now, is what is it that you don't have or can't do that you're not able to right now? And focus on that. Let that be your focus. Let that be your drive, and let's make it happen. Okay, let's make it happen. So last, I'm going to bring on Melissa Adams to close us out. And let me tell you something. She's my rock star running partner. We bounce things off each other all the time. She's my partner in crime. Anyone that's worked with Melissa knows that she will preach the believability into you. If you don't believe in yourself, she is the person that will get you to believe in yourself faster than anyone I know, because she believes in everyone. She understands what it takes to get to where you want to be and to be successful. And her believability is just amazing. Our partnership is amazing. I'm just blessed to be able to call her my friend. And Melissa, take it over.
Thank you so much, Stacy. And thank you, Mark and Jennifer and Cynthia. We appreciate your time. And Stacy, Stacy is truly one of my dearest friends. And I'm so thankful I wouldn't want to be on this journey with anybody other than you, brother. I want to tell you something. I want to tell every single one of you something, and I want you to listen. If you don't hear anything else, you can do this. Every single person on here, you can do this. There is nothing special about any of us that And we don't have anything inside us that you don't have inside of you. I have been with Zingular for 5.5 years. I had a career in corporate America, and I found a way to fit this in. I did a little every day, and then all of a sudden, I found that I was earning enough to pay my car payment on top of getting my products free, and it just grew from there. And that was life-changing for us, getting my car payment paid by, telling people about the greatest products in the whole world. I mean, that was a no-brainer. And so it just kept growing from there. And in 2 years, I resigned from a 28-year career in corporate America at 47 years old. And a few weeks ago, I turned 50, and I'm happy to say that we are debt-free. We've just bought some land. We're getting ready to build our dream home. And the greatest part about this and the way that I've done that is helping others do the same exact thing. And what I want to ask you is, what would an extra $500 every single month look like for your family? It's just like Jennifer said, I mean, paying for ball, paying for helmets and cleats and pants, and then paying for competition cheerleading. My daughter was a competition cheerleader. I know how much that was. What about a vacation? Where's spring breaks coming up? What if you could take your family on a vacation that you wouldn't be able to do? What about paying off a credit card? Are you still paying for Christmas that you charged on a credit card? What about having a savings account with money in it? I mean, that's a concept, right? Paying off student loans. What about spoiling those grandbabies? I mean, how awesome would that be? Anything that they want. That's what you're supposed to do with your grandbabies. What about, like Stacy said, giving back and giving to others and helping others and being on that side of the coin? What about not having to live paycheck to paycheck? What would that look like for your family? What would more time freedom look like? I'll tell you what it looked like for me. What it looked like for me was when my mom had open heart surgery. I was able to stay at the hospital every day. I was able to go to her house whenever she needed me and be there without having to ask somebody to take time off. What it looks like for me is my daughter calling saying, "Mom, I just need a couple of hours. Can you keep the kids?" And I drop what I'm doing and I can go over and keep my grandbabies for her without having to ask anybody for time off. And time freedom is being able to spend more time making memories with the people that matter the most in your life instead of spending all that time with coworkers. If you think about it, you're spending more time with coworkers than you are the people who truly matter in your life. And I'm going to tell you, if you are a customer, it is a $35 decision that you have to make. $35 is what it costs to upgrade to a referring member. If you are not on this program right now, it's just like Cynthia said, it costs less than your cell phone to be fully vested in this company. And I want you to ask yourself, why not you? You only have to take that very first step alone. The very first step you have to take by yourself and say yes. From then on, we are going to surround you and motivate you and teach you and cheer for you and edify you and make you feel like you need to feel and let you know that you are not alone on this. You have got a whole team of people that are going to be on this journey with you. And I implore you, don't settle for mediocrity. You are one decision away from the greatness God has for you right here in front of you. He has put this right here in front of you. You are not on this by accident. So I want you to message the person that invited you and tell them, I am ready to do this. I am in. And I want something more than what I have now. If you are a customer right now, I want you to message your coach and I want you to tell your coach, I am in. I am ready for something more. If you are already a referring member, but you're just not doing it, why? Do it. Go all in. Share this with somebody. It's yours for the taking. This can be anything that you want it to be. So right now, let your faith be bigger than your fear and come with us. We love you guys and hope you have a fantastic night.